Hello and welcome to day 11 of the World Ice Hockey Championships from Stockholm, Sweden. I'm Paul Ferguson, with me is Richard Beaupre, and we continue our coverage of the Group A competition here on Eurosport. Well, this is the final day before we enter the medal round of the competition. Let's take a look now at the Group A table. The Soviet Union in first place with 14 points, the Swedes in second with 10, the Canadians down in third also with 10, and the Czechs with 8. Those four will play off for the medals. The bottom four will fight to avoid relegation. The Finns, USA, Poland, and West Germany. And Poland would really like to stay up in this Group A because they were recently promoted here from the 1987 competition. Norway will come up next year, but someone has to go down.
And taking a look at the scoring leaders in the tournament thus far, Brian Bellows of Canada with 12 points, and Kent Nilsson of Sweden with 12, Ruziska of Czechoslovakia with 11. Those are the top three scorers. Kurt Muller, Iserman, and Wielander down in 8th, 9th, and 10th with 8 points each. And I'm not sure if that's the fitness manager for one of the teams or maybe the Polish all-star wrestling leader. I'm not sure at this point.
Well, he knows he's on television anyway. Let's take a look at the Polish lineup. Hanisch in goal, Potts and Gruth on defense. Bujar up front, he can really put the puck in the net. Stapinski, a good defenseman. Steblecki, watch for him. Jerzy Christ and Stebnecki, what a line that is. It's a shame that they're so far down the table. Briak, Drasik, and Stapinski, another good line for the Poles. For the Americans, Richard?
Got John Van Beesbrook between the pipes, Scott Young and Brian Leach on the defense. Got a good forward line in Christian Olchek and Snuggerud. They've done a lot of work in this tournament. Curvers and O'Callaghan both with good shots from the point. Jeffrey Brown, a tough defenseman. Fitzgerald and Fenton have done a lot of forechecking thus far in this tournament. They played well with Doug Brown. Thomas Chorsk, a university student from America. Tom O'Regan, a player coming from West Germany. And Randolph Wood, they've linked well together so far.
So, the spectators enjoying this one as we join play 7 minutes into the first period. Curvers from the American side playing right to left. O'Callaghan looking for someone to pass to. Curvers dumping it up. Korsk hammers his man into the boards and then takes a tumble himself. Jerzy Christ fell on top of them. Play seems to get sorted out now. Steblecki, a prolific goal scorer for Poland. He really does know how to get the puck between the pipes. A delayed offside on the call. Potts goes back for it. And it's a pity, after so many good years in the top 4 and 5, that the Americans are way down in the tournament right now, Richard.
Well, as a consolation to the team, they were thrown together about 10 days before the tournament started. But they've played some good hockey. They've had their moments. Poland's had a few spurts themselves, even though they've taken a few on the chin in this tournament. There's a lot of pride on this game, though.
Still no score here in the first period. Norton looking to get something going as he worked his way in. LaFontaine is in there mixing it up. Now LaFontaine gets it back. Poles doing a desperation job of grabbing and pulling there, and they eventually bring it out. A shot right on the target from Kadzioka. Kopcha got another one. LaFontaine gets it up on the wing. So the Americans off. A lovely play going in, and some good defensive work from Gregory Brown. Zepka had a break there, but Brown came to the rescue.
It was a sloppy pass in the Americans' defensive zone. Greg Brown came back nicely and took the man out.
The Poles, as I said, promoted from Pool B. Let's take a look at this again. A slap shot right on. A good save. Another one kicked out. Kopcha getting a piece of that rubber, but the goaltender equal to it. Clear to the side. Still, it's not away. Christ, Jerzy Christ in the corner. The Americans with a man in the box. The shot off a stick, but it's still not out. The rebound comes out, and that's a weak shot. Kazioka. Now, back on the attack. Wood, a one-on-one situation. Tries to bring it out, and is hammered into the backboards by Kazioka. Kazioka now coming up with Steblecki. Nice move by him. Kazioka. Steblecki. Still the Poles looking very, very calm, very cool in this first period. Power play situation. Stapinski. They score! Number 7, Robert Stapinski, put it behind the goaltender, and the Poles have gone into the lead.
Well, the Poles did a good job of controlling that puck in the American zone. As the pass was slid over to Subzinski, he found the bottom corner from out quite a ways, just inside that blue line. There he is again, between the blue line and the top of the circle, and it gets behind Van Beesbroek. One more look at that. As the pass came across from Kazioka, he's got a lot of time, gets all of this one. It's behind Van Beesbroek.
Midway through the first period, the Poles have taken the lead, much to the surprise of the Americans and the American supporters. Zapka dumped it in. Leach got it over. So the Americans not having their best World Championships. Young fired that one in. Miller mixing it up along the boards, and the Poles coming back. Leach, the pass too far in the neutral zone for Miller. Goes back to the defense. Young now. Leach. A lot of passing, but not really going anywhere in particular. Snuggerud gets it over. Young, right out front, and that's in the net. Pat LaFontaine, less than a minute after the Poles scored. The Americans have come back, and the score is level.
Well, the play was set up rather slowly here as Scott Young moved the puck out front. Pat LaFontaine was behind the defenseman. He managed to get the puck underneath the goaltender. There you see Scott Young. He's just kind of cruising in there. He's got a lot of time. He passes out front to Pat LaFontaine, who slides it underneath the goaltender.
Richard, watch Hanisch here. He should have got a stick on that one. That was ideal for a goaltender poke check, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that particular play, the goalie probably should have anticipated that pass coming across, as he had the time to get the stick out there.
He really choked up on a stick. 1-1 the score. Snuggerud kicking it back. Norton gets it over. The Americans stopped at center. O'Callaghan trying to stick handle it through. Christian now being chased by Chris as he dumps it in. Steblecki, a nice turn by him. Oh, another nice move. He's dragged from behind, eventually gets it out. And the Poles stringing together some nice moves against the Americans.
Well, the Americans aren't really playing the body that much in the attacking zone, and the Poles have got a little bit of room to skate around.
Norton picks up his own pass. He's got Snuggerud right in front. Snuggerud, oh, and a great save by Hanisch as he slid across the net. Christian gets it back behind the net. And now it's Snuggerud trying to get it out. He's taken out of the play. Christ comes up with it. A nice little pass, and back come the Poles, 2-on-2. The shot is high, way off the target. Stebnicki gets it right out front. Kopya trying to do something in the American zone, and back come the Americans with Fitzgerald. A rink-wide pass, oh, a lovely setup. Young took a blistering slap shot, was way wide of the target, and the Poles now on the attack. Zapka. Kopya. Zapka starting to get physical around the Americans' net as the big boys come down. Long shot, kicked away by Hanisch. Fenton working in. Brown losing control, and a break now for the Poles, but they just couldn't get a handle on that puck. Briac had an opportunity there, Richard, but just couldn't reach far enough.
Well, the Americans were a bit flat in the neutral zone, and he had a step on him, but Van Beesbroek came out nicely as the pass was led too far ahead of the Polish forward.
So the face-off in the American zone. There's Tim Taylor, the coach of the American side, the Yale University coach. And you can see the action here from the angle that Van Beesbroek sees it. Curvers now. Still Curvers. Picked up by O'Regan. O'Regan tried to get it right out front. Korska taken out of the play by 3 Poles. They really are coming back, and sometimes the Poles from time to time are bunching. Gruth, a long pass too far from anyone, and Curvers goes back to touch it and starts the return attack. O'Callaghan stick handling nicely. O'Callaghan picks up his own rebound, gets it over to Curvers. Curvers takes a shot right on Hanisch, and he smothers that one. Hanisch saw that one all the way, had no problem, but Wood was right there knocking on the door.
Well, the Poles are chasing the puck around, as you mentioned earlier, and Curvers was wide open on the far side. He had a lot of time to get that shot off. There you see it again from the overhead view. Curvers got all kinds of time, but he shoots it right into the goalie.
Hanisch, Polish goalie, looking for this face-off with less than 2 minutes remaining in the first period. Young calling for it. The Americans in a power play situation. Back to the point. Brown, Young now. Young tees it up, takes a shot. The deflection is high and wide into the crowd. The spectators happy that they grabbed that puck.
They're always happy to be able to smile after a puck goes up in the crowd and still have their teeth there.
Coming right in front, the Americans a backhand shot. Eddie Olczyk was high and again wide of the target. Leach tries to keep it in, he does. Back to the point, few seconds remaining on the clock. Not a good play there by Snookerud. Quasi-Glock shot it all the way down the ice. Snuggerud now. Up on the right wing. Oh, good move by Leach. Leach turns, gets it back to the point. A long shot is blocked by Hanisch. Young got a piece of that. 5 seconds remaining. A long pass up. No time for a shot. There goes the whistle to end the first period. It's Poland 1, USA 1. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the second period here. Poland 1, USA 1. The Americans playing from left to right in the light jerseys. Both teams having some good opportunities on goal. The Americans now with a power play situation. O'Callaghan. Mullen. O'Callaghan takes a shot. The rebound comes out, and it's still this power play situation. A long shot wide of the target came from Mullen. Still, it's the Americans with a power play, and they're keeping it in, keeping the pressure on. Tipped out nicely, and they have to come out and regroup. John O'Callaghan dumping it over. The Poles getting set to put their man back on the ice. A shot from a ridiculously sharp angle gave Hanisch some problems, and it ricochets all the way down the ice. O'Callaghan will get there first. Stebnicki forechecking, shadowing all the way. So the Americans didn't take the opportunities given to them when they had that power play situation. Zapinski coming back. 3 Poles, 4 Americans back there. Well, they certainly are getting back into the play, Richard.
Yeah, there's good back-checking by both teams there as the second period is winding on.
Coming up now, Christian, head-manning the puck into the center. Christian breaking in, Christian go right in, and again, Hanisch stacks his pads and comes up with a save. The Poles try to get something going. The pass bouncing, and Leach comes up with it. Leach to Christian, over the line to Snuggerud, offside the call.
Well, both teams are forechecking and back-checking adequately, but they're not putting a lot together as far as good opportunities on either goaltender. There you see Christian throwing the pass ahead for Snuggerud, but the winger right on the boards with the step offsides.
3:25 gone in the second period. 1-1 still the score. In the face-off circle, Eddie Olczyk, Stebnicki for Poland. Well, it's difficult to tell who's the actual Pole with Olczyk and Stebnicki, but I assure you, Olczyk is an American. Dumped all the way down the ice. The Americans, with again the man advantage, work it out. Young with Snuggerud, Christian. That line is playing well. They're getting the opportunities. They just have to put the puck in the net now. Leach stick handling in. Leach going in, circles. Still it's Leach to the far side. Snuggerud getting it back to Leach. In the corner, back to Snuggerud. Eddie Olczyk calling for it in the corner as he comes to help out Snuggerud. Christian now. Christian lost that one along the boards as he dumped it ahead, and Chris comes back into the action. A shot wide off in the far corner of the net rather, was wide open, and they just couldn't put the rebound in. Snuggerud up there. Eddie Olczyk. Olczyk right in front. He puts it over the top of the net. Hanisch was down. It was from close in. That's the only way he could go.
Now, both teams looking very sloppy here as plays really got to pick up here with both teams.
They're getting opportunities, but again, not making the most of them. Young getting it over. Chorsk taken out of the play. Randy Wood. The Americans trying to work it out, and again, Hanisch comes up with a key save on Randy Wood. He was down well before the shot.
Well, Hanisch did well to cover that one as you see Randy Wood coming to the net. Where are the Polish defensemen? You take him. No, you've got him. Nobody seems to want him. Wood walks in all alone. There you see it again. There's nobody near him. Looks like he's just doing a practice drill or something there. Hanisch does well to cover that.
1-1 still the score here in the second period. Christ LaFontaine will do the honors in the face-off circle. Chris gets it back. A long shot. Steers wide. Zapinski got the woodwork on that one. Stebnicki pokes it back in behind the net. Steblecki got that out. Just a bit too far. Hanisch picks it up. Zapinski dropping it back in the Poles circle and start to work it out. Christ, a long shot right on the target. Well, shots like that, Stauber, who's now between the pipes for USA, will stop all day long. Again, the shot, this time it deflects high and into the crowd. So action at both ends, but the score remains 1 goal apiece. Robert Stauber has gone in to replace Van Biesbroek. And John O'Callaghan discusses where this face-off should be. And the official is telling him he wants it just inside the blue line. Eddie Olczyk. Adamiet. Jerzy Potts poked it in. And the Americans dumping it up too far for anyone. So that goes all the way back. And the Poles now Gruth. Gruth again. Over the blue line. A nice pass. Back to Bouillard. Right in front. Kwasi Groch had a golden opportunity and didn't make the most of it.
Gruth put him through nicely with that pass. As the American defense was very flat-footed. Both teams are really looking lazy at this point. They're throwing the puck in, and none of them are really skating hard to get it.
Icing the call.
There's an example right there, as both teams are either throwing the puck into the corner or right at the net, but the forwards aren't going hard enough to get it.
Well, it looks like one of the Poles possibly got a stick just under the eye.
Looks possibly like that was a tight and right-handed stick by the looks of it. A very common area to get hit with a high stick.
So back in the action here. The Poles with the pressure on, buzzing around the net. Kopya jumped to the ice. A shot from a sharp angle. Zapka still with the puck. Zapka pokes it out. Stauber gets a piece of it and deflects it, but it's still not out. Coming back on some good defensive work there. A weak shot. Kopya trying to get a hold of it. Oh, and that was right across. Pasadiadlo poked it away. And Hanisch.
That puck all the way down to Hanisch. There's one goalie to the other, and there were 10 other players on the ice, and none of them touched it.
So the Poles coming close, but unable to poke that puck in the net. It would appear that for the moment anyway, the Americans are having difficulty in their own end. Norton. Up on the wing, Norton. A long pass intended for Patrick Lafontaine. Coming back is Kwasi Groch, stopped by Norton, and it's still not out. Brown roughs his man up along the boards. Norton head manning the puck, but again, not a brilliant pass. Just a bit too far. Stebnicki now takes a wrist shot right on the target. Stauber comes up with the save.
Well, still not that difficult for the goaltenders, as you see Stebnicki moving into the slot. Tries to use the defenseman as a screen, but Stauber saw the shot all the way, and it was right at him.
A good move here from Stebnicki as he works his way over the blue line. Watch him move in front of the defenseman and then take a low shot, looking for the screen. The face-off. The draw comes all the way out into the neutral zone. Gruth back up on the wing. Steblecki to the far side. Stebnicki. Chris now, the Americans coming back. A long shot by Eddie Olchuk. The rebound coming in. The Americans are there. They put it away. Snuggerud got that pass from John O'Callaghan from the far side of the rink. And he was under a lot of pressure there, but he put it in the net. A lovely goal from the Americans that put them into the lead, 2-1.
Well, that was good movement away from the puck for Snuggerud, especially as O'Callaghan kept the puck in at the blue line. He saw Snuggerud, a very heads-up play. Snuggerud slides the puck behind the goalie. There you see the pass coming over from John O'Callaghan. Snuggerud controls it off the skate and snaps it into the lower corner.
So the fans loving this close match between the Americans and Poles here in the second period. 15 seconds remaining in the period as Snuggerud hammers his man into the woodwork. Leach takes the shot. Another shot from close in. Christian getting a piece of that with 5 seconds remaining. Bounces off a player, and that goes all the way down the ice. Well, there goes the buzzer to end the second period. The Americans, with the only goal in that period, lead 2-1. We'll be right back in a moment. Welcome back to the third and final period. Poland against the USA. USA leading 2-1, playing from right to left.
Well, I think you're going to see play open up here in this third period as both teams are going to start going for that net more. And you're going to see a lot more movement by both teams.
Well, this is the final day before we enter the medal round of the competition. Of course, neither of these teams will be involved in that medal round. They're in the bottom half, along with Finland and West Germany, but they will be fighting to avoid relegation into Group B. So the Americans now on the attack. Working it right out front, that bounce off a skate. LaFontaine gets it right across to the far side. LaFontaine now cruising into Curvers. A shot right in front, and Olczyk puts it in. The rebound came right out, and just as he was being knocked to the ice and he smiles, he poked that in the net. A power play goal for Eddie Olczyk.
That's right, as the Americans control the puck on this power play. Pat LaFontaine doing a lot of work. Slides the puck very calmly over to Curvers, takes a sharp angle shot. The rebound's there off the chest of Hanisch. Big Olczyk puts it in. There you see Curvers, snaps the shot. Hanisch is down. Eddie Olczyk takes a bump, but still finds the back of the net. From the overhead view, Curvers, a sharp angle shot, but Ed Olczyk is open in front.
3-1 to score. The Americans extending their lead. Leach getting it back to Curvers. O'Regan taken by Potts, but he manages to get the pass up to Curvers. Curvers over the blue line. There seems to be more purpose in the play now of the Americans. Curvers. Another penalty situation here with the Americans with a power play.
Oh, the Poles have got to stay out of that penalty box. My prediction was the game would open up for both sides, but thus far it's only opened up on the American side. The Poles still seem a bit stiff out there.
Quasi Grock is pushed to the ice. Sapinski falls and can't control it. And the Americans now. O'Callaghan looking for somewhere to go. He runs out of room, and eventually Curvers gets it up to Wood. Wood splitting two players, and eventually gets poke checked, trying to do it on his own. Steblecki. Offside call on the play. Well, we're seeing a lot of individual runs from time to time from both teams. You're going to hear Tim Taylor saying, get back and help out.
That's right, as the Americans have the 3-1 lead at this point. Tim Taylor wants to make sure his team is back checking and keep the heat off the defense.
Hockey, of course, is a two-way game. The forwards can go forward and score goals, but they really do have to come out, or come back rather, and help out the goalie and the defenseman. Potts. Intercepted nicely by Leach. Leach getting it over. A shot. Mullen wide of the target. The Americans still with a power play situation. Oh, LaFontaine screwed that one wide. Seapots gets it over. And the Poles getting set to return to full strength. Zapka steered out of the play now, and the Americans come back on the attack. Wood dumping it in. Brian Mullen missed his check along the boards. Mullen still with it. Right out front. Can they get the shot? The goaltender down, and that missed the net. Oh, they're roughing it up right in front of the net. The referee missed that. There were a couple of punches thrown as Christophe Bouillard was stopped dead in his tracks right on the blue line.
Oh, he sure was, as Brian Leach came in a bit high there, but Bouillard will keep his head up the next time he gets near that blue line, I'm sure.
Well, there's a crack in the plexiglass, and it does take a lot. As we look at this shot that's wide of the net, it does take a lot to crack that plexi, but remember, this puck, which is made out of vulcanized rubber, is traveling at well over speeds of 100 miles an hour. Right out front, Fenton. Miller, he's still got Fenton. Shrugs off a bear hug. Fitzgerald now back to the point, right in front. Oh, and Hanisch didn't know where that was. He lost it completely. Fenton now is steered into the corner, taken out of the play. Podsiadlo dumps it out. Curvers. Taken out in the neutral zone, and back come the poles. Briac is taken out right on the red line, and there's going to be a penalty on the play.
Well, it was definitely a high hit, but that was like, in other words, welcome to world-class hockey here. The hit was innocent enough, but the stick that was across the man's chest came right up and took him, I believe, under the chin.
So that's going to cost Fenton 2 minutes.
Number 14 in USA, Fenton, 2 minutes penalty for high stick, time 6:02.
Well, as you see the play right here, number 20, Briac, is coming across center. He tries to cut back. Fenton gets the stick into him, and as the player is spun down, it was a potential hook at first, but as the player was spun down, momentum carried the stick right up into the chin. It's 2 minutes for high sticking to Paul Fenton.
In the third period, 3-1 the score for the Americans. A chance now for Poland to come back into this one. They really do need a victory here to keep their spirits high. Foreshadowing is Kelly Miller. Coming up on the wing, the Poles decide to dump it in, but no real penetration from them. The Americans have all day to dump that puck down. They're going to have to do better than that as Potts go back for it.
The Poles have got to get something going here. They've got to organize themselves and control that puck and try and pull one back right here while they've got the opportunity.
Podsiadlo gets it up, follows up now on the left wing. Right in front, cruising was Quasi-Grock, but the puck was steered away from him. Christ, Jerzy Christ, backhands that one out, all the way back to the circle. The deflection by Gruth. Coming in now is Potts. Well, Chris tried to be clever. Quasi-Grock working his way in, and Stauber come up with a good save. Quasi-Grock was wide open in front of the net.
That's right, he had an opportunity there, but Stauber did well to come out and challenge him.
And a nice little move there by Jerzy Christ to get around the defenseman, but offside whistle stopped him in his tracks.
You mentioned earlier the Poles are doing a lot of things individually, and it's obvious at this point and quite apparent that they're just not playing well as a team. As Priest and Stepnicki, they're all trying to do it on their own. Stablecki's had some nice rushes. There you see Priest with a really nice move, but total lack of communication as the forward on the left wing was about 3 strides off sides.
Olczyk wins the draw. The Americans dump it down to kill off this penalty. See Foz up on the wing, a long pass. Zapka still not kept in. Podsiadlo working it over, and they're going the wrong way. See Pause. Not much penetration here, as I said, and this power play effort as Fenton steps back on the ice and the Americans return to full strength. Eddie Olczyk is taken out of the play. Randy Wood tried to get in there. Kopya came up with the puck. Now the Americans coming back on the attack. O'Callaghan is up there as Randy Wood brings it into the corner. Wood wrestles with number 6, Gruth, and loses out. And the Poles now with a 2-on-2 situation. A trailing man comes up, taken out nicely by Curvers. So calm and cool in defense, got that stick in the way. Wood trying to get a handle on that one. Squeezes around the boards. Korsk with Wood. Wood losing out to number 21, Quasi-Grock, and they're still fighting for it. The shot comes from back, and they score! Korsk from Randy Wood. Got that slap shot, and really, Hanisch didn't have a chance.
Well, this was great forechecking by Randy Wood as he pulls the puck back to Korsk. He takes it on a one-timer, slaps it behind Hanisch. There you see it again. It's a nice shot. Hanisch maybe didn't see that. but it got behind him for goal number 4.
So with 9 minutes gone here in the third period, it's 4-1 for the Americans. And Curvers now. Fenton, a shot right on the target by Fitzgerald. Fenton now going after Jerzy Christ. Fenton ties up Christ and eventually runs into a sea of red shirts out there as Fitzgerald started to rough it up in that corner. Coming back, Steblecki handled easily as Curvers comes out with it. Curvers taken out of the play. The Poles now take a shot right on Stauber, and he prevents the rebound from coming out. A nice save from him. And a bit of pushing and shoving, but nothing that serious in front of the goal.
No, there was a little breakdown in the play. The Poles came up with a good opportunity here, but Stauber didn't allow a rebound.
Welcome back to the second half of this third period. 10:28 gone, 4-1 the score. America in the lead over Poland. The Poles with several chances in the game, but really not making the most of them. The Americans putting the puck in the net twice so far in the third period. They scored once in the first, once in the second. The Poles opened the scoring, but really haven't done a lot since.
Oh, the Americans seem to have come to life in this third period as they're totally out-muscling the Poles all over the ice, and they've had the better of the play.
Kept in nicely by Quasi-Groch, then he loses it out to Snuggerud, trying to get it up to Eddie Olczyk. Bouillard. Gruth. Bouillard. Turning, going the other way now, Stebnicki. Stebnicki takes a shot, it goes off the pad of Stauber. It goes all the way down to Kadzioka. Steblecki sorting it out in front of the net with Chris, but he couldn't get the shot away. Olczyk ties him up, and the puck eventually ends up in the neutral zone. Chris now. Steblecki over to the far side. Steblecki. We got a Stebnicki out there and a Steblecki. Stebnicki. Jerzy Christ getting over to the far side. A chance for a shot, a slap shot. Wide of the target as Stauber was way out of his net. Still, it's Poland with the action. Chris getting it over to Kadzioka. Poland putting on the pressure here in the latter stages of this third period. Chris tries to get that across to the far side. Kadzioka eventually picks it up, backhands it right out front, and Chris a bit too slow to get the shot away. O'Regan. Wood took that shot, but that was wide of the target, and Poland stopped at the blue line. Brown. Curvers. O'Callaghan right in at a sharp angle. Chris pick it up as Hanisch made the save. Kadzioka to the far side, too far from anyone. O'Callaghan dumps it all the way down, and Hanisch gives it to Sipas. Oh, and Fenton just missed it. Fenton puts it out front, but there's no one there with a white shirt on, and the Poles chase it as Stauber dumps it into the neutral zone.
Well, the Poles just can't seem to penetrate here as they get the puck just about the center, and it's breaking back down, and it keeps coming back the other way.
A nice pass there to number 18, Ludwig Zabka. A bit sloppy behind the net. Again, it's right out front, but there's no one there to pick it up. Fenton for America comes back on the attack. Working their way in, right in front of the net. The Americans getting shots from close in. Leach now. Leach, as a man is dumped, and there's going to be a penalty on the play. Fenton was right in front of the net, and the referee's arm went up to signal a penalty.
Well, Hanisch had a lot of confusion around the front of this net. As you see, One-on-one, a defenseman and a forward from America. They're going right at it. As the players hauled down to the ice, there's a penalty call on the play.
Well, Fenton's there, and it really does look like Saturday afternoon wrestling right in the goal crease. Interference is the call. So number 22, Theodorczak for Poland, will go into the box, and the Americans will have a power play.
Well, penalties have hurt the Poles badly here, and now the Americans have another chance to increase their lead. So behind the net, Olczyk taking his man out. A nice move there by Gruth. LaFontaine trying to keep it in. Gruth has other ideas as he moves it out into the neutral zone. Nobody wants to go and get him. Where's the aggressive forechecking? Oh, a long shot. Stauber lost that one completely. He flipped it up as if he really didn't care. Adamiak got a piece of that, and what was Stauber doing? I don't know, he looked a little nonchalant there, but Adamiak had a pretty good piece of that one. It looked like a pretty nice shot.
Well, he looked like he was getting practice shots on a Saturday morning. Just incredible stuff from Stauber as he flipped it over the top of his head. LaFontaine getting it back to the point. O'Callaghan. Potts all the way around. The Americans taking their time, trying to set this up. The box not bending at all, not breaking. Olczyk, that hit a skate. LaFontaine, his man is out of the play. LaFontaine working his way in now. A shot, an easy one for the goaltender as he comes out to scoop it up. So Hanisch getting a piece of that one as this power play continues for the USA.
Well, Hanisch may be down in this game, but he has no reason to hold his head down as he's played a nice game and he's seen a lot of rubber tonight.
Let's look at this at the other end. The puck is down now. Stauber picks it up, and he just scoops it up behind him. I really don't know what he was doing.
It looked like it was an out in a baseball game, and they were throwing the ball around the horn as he just kind of nonchalantly chucked that over to the shortstop, I think.
Well, I'm sure he didn't mean to do it. The Poles getting set to return to full strength. Couple of seconds. That's right out front. The shot scores. Kelly Miller. David Christian gave him the puck, and Miller makes it 5-1. So the Americans extend their lead here in the third and final period.
While the Poles were caught with only one defenseman in front of that net, Davey Christian feeds the puck out to Kelly Miller, puts it up over Hanisch as he goes down. There you see the play again. Snuggerud gave the puck to Christian. Christian's got a 2-on-1 with Kelly Miller, gives it over to him, and he puts it up over Hanisch. As you can see, there was only one Pole in front of that net. There were two Americans.
So 5-1 the score now, with just under 4 minutes remaining here in the third period. Norton comes to the rescue on this one to Brown. Brown has Snuggerud at center. He decides to go for the long pass. Coming out on the backhand shot, scores! David Christian from a sharp angle on a low shot into the far corner, makes it 6-1.
Well, Dave Christian's been working hard since he came over to this team during this tournament. If anybody deserves a goal, it's Dave Christian. He's an excellent playmaker. He always gives it 100%. As the Poles look very sloppy here, the break goes for Christian. He puts a backhander underneath Hanisch. There's the backhander coming from Christian as he's all by himself.
6-1 the score. The Poles desperately trying to get back into this game, but they're running out of time. They really are. This third period has been all America. They've had, of course, the advantage of the penalties from time to time, and Stauber right in front. Stauber comes up with a key save as that bobbles in front, and there are just too many white shirts there to keep that one away.
I think that Stauber watched a tape of Jim Corsi in the net last night in his hotel room or something, as he seemed to have adopted that very nonchalant style here tonight.
Jim Corsi, of course, the goaltender for the Italian side, we saw in the Pool B competition, who was caught roaming all over the ice from time to time, and on one occasion was about 20 feet out of his net when they put the puck in.
Well, Stauber hasn't been caught out of his net, fortunately, but he has been very casual at times tonight.
A shot from number 12, Kopya, with 10 seconds remaining. The Americans are going to win this one. They're just wasting off the final 2 or 3 seconds. There goes the buzzer to end the game. A strong performance, in particular in the third period, by the Americans. They win it 6-1 over Poland. Stay with us now as West Germany go against Finland.